Pelargonium. The word pelargonium comes from the Greek word pelargos, stork, and refers to the shape of the seeds. They remind of a bird's beak. Pelargoniums are native to South Africa, but it grows also in Madagascar, Arabia, and, for example, in New Zealand. Other old names for pelargonium include geraniums and storkbills. The wild types growing in nature are four: hooded leaf pelargonium, cascading pelargonium, horseshoe pelargonium, and scarlet pelargonium. The color distribution of pelargoniums are 60 to 65% are red or rubin red, 20 to 25 are pink, and 10 to 15 white, lilac, or some other special colors. To the left you can see one pelargonium. It's a zonal pelargonium and of something we call Mårbacka type up in Northern Europe. It has a pink flower. And to the right you can also see zonal pelargon, but you can see that it is bicolored, so the leaves are also white at the edge. So pelargons can also have a lot of different marks or variety in how they appear. Different countries have different divisions into groups, and that of course has also been depending on what type of pelargoniums have arrived to the different countries and how much they have been established or are grown among people. The Royal Horticultural Society in London, that was founded already in 1804, they have an own way of making also these groups. So if you have a look at the Swedish ones, then here are zonal, scented, cascading, tornado, unique, and angel pelargoniums. And then according to the Finnish Wikipedia, then there is only something called home pelargoniums, that is actually the zonal pelargoniums, then scented pelargoniums, then noble pelargoniums, and then balsam pelargoniums. If we then look at the Royal Horticultural Society from the United Kingdom, their division, then they are dividing them into 8 groups, which are zonal, ivy-leaved, regal, angel, unique, scented-leaved, and then just species and primary hybrids. And they are also lumped together in different groups. For example, angel, unique, and scented-leaved sometimes are lumped together. And then these can then be divided again according to different descriptors, such as cactus, colored foliage, decorative, double, dwarfed ivy-leaved, frutetorum, miniature ivy-leaved, stellar, tulip, and variegated. So when we start to talk about pelargonium, then there will most likely be many different opinions, and especially if we are then people from different countries, then there are different traditions on how to group them. Let's just have then a look on different, mostly then zonal pelargons here. So many of these species are hybrids, and either then Pelargonium inquinans or Pelargonium zonale are their parents. Here you can see one that could perhaps be called, as in Sweden, this type is called Mårbacka type, and it's connected to the Swedish writer and first female to get Nobel Prize also, Selma Lagerlöf. And this Mårbacka type is then, it's named after her home estate. I saw something similar in Rumskiske in Lithuanian Open Air Museum years ago. And I have been growing this, and it is a very beautiful pelargonium that it's very hardy as well. I have tried to make a list for you here of these different groups, and here may be something that some errors in this group as well. And for example, colored foliage, so with colored leaf, and also variegated, they are like could be put together or look alike. But some help to get started you may find from this. Here is an old Estonian pelargonium. You can see that the flower is pretty simple, and it's pink with white on the edges. Here is one red zonal pelargon. As we remember now, 60% of all the pelargoniums are red. And this one I bought just at the local market years ago. And it was also very easy to reproduce this. And it was very well overwintering. And I kept it actually in an apartment, in a flat, so I didn't put it to dominate in that way into some cold space. It was just in full light on the window the year around. Wintertime, it do not flower. It starts then in the early summer to flower again, but it's quite possible to keep it on in this Northern European cold climate also on the window winter time. This is a close-up picture of the same pelargonium as before. And here the earlier mentioned Ainos to the right and Pandivere to the left, and then in the middle there is a white one that I once purchased at Pyhititsa convent in Estonia. It's much more doubled. It assembles nearly more rosebud pelargonium. But from the leaves you can see these darker marks on the leaves, so they are all zonal pelargons. And here a zonal pelargon, you can see again on the leaf that there are these darker colors also. And it has white at the edge, so it is colored foliage, so a colored leafed pelargonium, this from Sonkajärvi in Finland. And now we'll follow some photos of pelargoniums grown in Kemijärvi National Park, in Arkhangelsk County in northwestern Russia today. This is Ustpocha hostes. It's a red one. This is from the same village in Kemijärvi National Park, and this one I call Ustpocha Maiden. It's pink, and if you look at the color of now the flower, then it has slightly white in the middle, so it's quite the opposite from the Aino pelargonium, which had white at the edges of the small leaves. This is also very hardy. It grows very high on the windows, so you get it far more than 50 centimeters you can get it to grow, and it's flowering the whole summer. And this is another pelargonium from another village in the same national park, and this color was more kind of aniline red, and you can see that it has white in the middle and then these darker stripes. And the same aniline red in a little bit other light. And this is now a very young one, it's a white one. And you should always also remember to look at the stamens, because they may also have different colors. And this one is a red one, and you can see that it's very much doubled, each small flower. The stamens here are red in color. And this is an orange one, and it's a little bit getting withered here, but it's also more like a rosebud, even if it's not that, it's like a little bit larger, the flower itself, the small flowers itself. And here outdoors you can see how they have been put summertime, and all these different types that we were looking at before. Scented pelargoniums, in Latin pelargonium, and cross with fragrance. Lemon, rose, apple scented pelargoniums fit well to desserts. So all pelargoniums are edible, they are not poisoned. In Northern Europe and in Sweden especially, there is one lemon scented that is called Dr. Westerlund. The story goes that there was this doctor, Westerlund, that kept this scented, lemon scented plant in the waiting room, where people were sitting and waiting to come into the doctor, and that it gave this very kind of fresh air to the room. Immediately when you touch it, then this scent is spread. And then there are also peppermint scented, such as tormentosum, or then also chocolate peppermint ones. These balsam pelargoniums, there are two different types. One is Pelargonium crossed graveolens, and then another one is a breed between Pelargonium radens, which is scented, and Pelargonium capitatum, the rosebud. And here is one that I saw in Gideoni at a forestry school in Lithuania, south of Kaunas. In the school kitchen, they had a huge scented pelargonium there. And this is very much the same type then as in Sweden is called Dr. Westerlund. Just this type, it is very easy to form it into a tree. And down right you can see the flower. On this exemplar they were very small and very like single-leafed, and it does not really flower a lot. So I have had this for many years, but actually I have seen it flowering perhaps only twice. So it's not very keen on flowering. Here I have added a pelargonium cake recipe, and it is taken from the Swedish author Veronica Wegner's book, Beloved Pelargons. And you can actually add this scented pelargonium and use it just like lemon, you use lemon. So everywhere where you would like to put lemon, you could use this lemon scented pelargonium. So they are really very well suited for different kinds of cakes and desserts. You just have to chop it fine and then mix it into whatever you are baking or doing. You can also mix it with, for example, powdered sugar, and if you have chopped it very fine, these green leaves, and you can just storage them in a plastic jar in your freezer and then use it when needed. There are many books written about pelargoniums, so just try to look in your library or Google around and you will find a lot of them in English language and other languages. I would like to pay your attention to that we have quite recently had a large pelargonium project in Finland, and the first source here mentioned by Maarit Heinonen and others, there was written a very comprehensive book about old Finnish pelargons. And even if this is in Finnish, you can just open it up and have a look on it, because there is a lot of beautiful photos and also drawings of the different types of pelargoniums that were found in people's homes.